Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's 4:18 Central Standard Time. And I just wanted to say something. First off, I don't have the camera on because the aesthetics right now isn't all that hot. So I'm rocking with OBS and having my back hallway in the screen. And that back hallway became my safe space. Which in turn led to this. Me being called the lone soul at 3130 Albert Street. Cause I was. Right now I'm about to talk about something else. And it has everything to do with black people. The 45, 46 million of us that make up 13.6% of the United States population. Which does not include or limited to immigrants, or what have you. I'm talking about the foundation of Black Americans, the FBAs. Specifically, the 85%. Because it seems like we still have a problem with that 85%. Because a lot of them are functioning like we're still on a plantation, even though we've been freed nearly 200 years ago. Since when it became black, when you're constantly walking around in your hood, in your hood, with your head constantly on the swivel, every millisecond on the millisecond. Looking out for other dudes and crooked cops. Staying in rundown houses or apartment complexes. Spending your money on things that really don't even matter in the grand scheme of things. always mean mugging at people and at each other for absolutely no reason. Claiming hoods and streets you didn't even build. That's still tied to city and state government. No one want to practice group economics so we could keep the money with us, so we could turn the hoods into communities instead of communities. Thinking anybody black that speaks proper English, live out somewhere, increase their bags, and you looking at them saying you think you better than me. Well, you damn sure ain't got the heart to stack up and match up. And think, and since this is election time to determine whether or not Joseph Biden becomes president again for a second term. Under the impression that black people are supposed to only vote Democrat, vote blue no matter who. Okay, now here is the question. Who told black folks to do that? I thought our people fought for that right to vote, just to be involved in the voting process. But I want to know who said that black folks should only vote Democrat. I mean, white folks don't tell each other that, and they got both parties on lock. So no matter what party they vote for, even the independent and green party, they still gonna benefit regardless. And what's the reason for that? Policies. They don't go to the polls and treat every election like it's American Idol, America's Got Talent, like we do, unfortunately. Most of us, anyway. Just because so and so said so. And if anybody black decides to vote Republican, which a lot of them are starting to do right now, given what's going on with this administration, They want to call you a sellout, call you a coon, or a member of the Butter Biscuit Brigade. Well, some blacks who vote Republican are considered coons. But guess what? So are some on the Democratic side. Hence, Roland Martins, the Joy Reids, the Angela Rise with lettuce and tomato on the side. Shout out to Professor Black Truth. If anybody black who's in a high profile position that ain't doing anything for us, policy wise, those are the true sellouts, regardless of what party they represent. Now, I'm not here to tell nobody who to vote for. You're grown. You do what you gotta do. But make sure you're smart about it. Okay? Make sure you're smart about it. Me, I'm jumping on whatever fits my best interest. I'm not worrying about how popular they are, what's the coolest thing to do. I'm not a cheerleader. Like what a lot of us cheering for people that shouldn't be in office. Like the Tiffany Hears of the world. And even the one in the city. Who we all call T, and has done nothing for the city except playing hanky panky in a French Quarter apartment. Meanwhile, it's been almost 20 years since Hurricane Katrina, and that Six Flags Jazzland amusement park is still abandoned. Tower Plaza in the CBD is still abandoned. They got old tires and old furniture out here in the east, especially up and down Michoud Boulevard from the I-10 to the abandoned amusement park. Roads are still bumpy. That stretch of Morrison Road between Gannon and Paris Road still incomplete. Where they got the southbound lane closed and cut off when you get to Vincent, and on the northbound side, going from Vincent to Paris Road, and from Vincent to Gannon, it's not even paved. The police force and regional transit authorities short-handed, and other agencies are short-handed. The NOPD's evidence room has unsuspected guests in it. Those are the four-legged variety. The same ones we seen in old public housing or on the streets coming out of sewage. And speaking of that, with all these pumping stations we have in the city, how come the drainage is not fixed? Because we're so enamored with vote for somebody that is what I call political eye candy. And we don't even put any of them, whether it be local, state, or federal. We don't put them through the vetting process to see who they are, what they're about, or whether or not they're going to stand on business. I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican or Green Party or no party. What do you stand on? With me, after that fiasco called the presidential election of 2000, where George W. Bush got shoehorned in, I lost my trust. Matter of fact, my trust was and spirit was killed on that day. And 2, 3 years later, when I went to register to vote again, this time I voted I registered as an independent. I'm not tied to no party. If you are tied to a party, hey, I'm not gonna hold it against you. But I tell you this, for those who say a no vote is a vote for a Republican, I sat out the last presidential election. So how did a Democrat get in office? If that's true. A no vote is not a vote for a Republican. A no vote is a vote for nobody. What part of no don't you understand? The N or the O? And don't ever tell me about if you didn't vote, you don't have a right to complain. I do have a right to complain. What's there and who is there for me to vote for? That's my only complaint. And who was on Facebook the night that Trump and Biden had a debate? I posted a question asking whether or not is Biden going to talk about that 94 crime bill, which he had written when Clinton was in office, giving black men near life sentences for minor offenses. And is he going to come out to condemn it? That was the question I raised. But then I got a lot of people within the first 30 seconds posting comments talking about how our people fought and died for the right to vote. But what does that have to do with the question at hand? And I asked that question out of concern. Is he going to come out and condemn that 94 crime bill that he wrote when he was a senator of Delaware? That's the only question I asked. But a lot of y'all got in your feelings. But y'all want me to talk smack about the Republicans. I had that same energy for the Democrats too. And what was the gripe about? Policies. I'm only concerned about policies. I'm not concerned about personalities. Who cares about personalities? I just want to know, what are you going to do for black people? A lot of us got on Ice Cube's case with his plan for black America when the Republicans asked him about it. But y'all foolishly thought he just only went to the Republicans. He went to the Democrats as well with it. But what did they tell him? Wait till after the election. It's been 4 years, that man still ain't got a phone call. And with Sleepy Joe going on the Breakfast Club talking about, if you don't know if you vote for me or for Trump, then you ain't black. I find that as an insult. First of all, he's too old. He's suffering from dementia. And he doing things that he ain't got no business doing. Like letting the migrants come in this country. Remember, this is the guy you voted for. He letting the migrants come in this country illegally. But we mad at Trump when he said build a wall. And now with Joe in office and letting these illegal migrants in, creating a border crisis that people in New York and Chicago and even in Texas are griping about. And this is why all the people that voted for Joe, few of them are turning away, probably completely, from the Democratic Party. They're either going to re-elect Trump or vote for the couch. Like I said, I'm looking at policies. I don't care about whether or not you got a D or a R in front of your name. That don't even matter. What are you going to do? Not only for this country, but for black people in particular. The cry is out for reparations in the form of cash payments for only foundational black Americans only, not migrants. The ones who was here before, during, and after slavery. And if there's a Republican that has a policy that's beneficiary to the United States and for black people, ride with it. What if there's a Democrat who has a policy that's for America and for black people? Go ride with them. I mean, do what you gotta do. I'm not swaying nobody to do what, but I mean, who the hell listens to me? Who listens to me? If I'm not talking about cover dances, the backgrounds I do, what we do in the projects, outside of that, who the hell listens to me? All I'm saying is this election cycle, be smart. Look at the policies they present and hold them accountable to it, even if they don't follow through. That's what you're supposed to do. As far as me going to vote, whatever I do is my business and should not have anything to do with you. If you're gonna judge me on it, do that in an intelligent way. Cause I ain't in the mood for no name calling. I'm not gonna do any name calling. And y'all shouldn't do that with me because I had to hear that from kindergarten on. I'm not gonna hold it against you if you decide to do what you want to do. I mean, you're grown. It's your prerogative. Go ahead, go ahead and stand on it. But to me, there's way too many geriatrics in public office right now. I have yet to wait. I have yet to see somebody from Gen X get elected to the top office of the land, which is the President of the United States. We see a lot of Gen Xers and millennials being voted in local office, rarely state, but most certainly not national. And that need to change. Like with every U.S. president, I'm keeping my eyeball on them. Democrat, Republican, Green Party, No Party, House Party, or Couch Party. I'm looking at what they're doing. I could care less who they are. I mean, what are you doing? That's all I'm worried about. What are you doing? And who's going to call them out on it? That goes for the president. That goes for the Senate. That goes for the House. Our governors, our mayors, our city council. That goes for them as well. Especially here in New Orleans. The Big Easy. The city that cared forgot. Looked like it has became the city that literally forgot to care. Because New Orleans ain't been the same since Katrina. Canal Street ain't Canal Street anymore. The East ain't the East no more. Uptown ain't, well, they're doing a little something uptown. What say you? As well as the folks on the other side of the Mississippi River. And that 1.5. How's it for y'all? Downtown or lower, upper, and eastern nine? We already know. Everywhere else, we already know. And Carver High School is still waiting on that stadium, which is going to come to fruition. Because the last ones who thought the idea had good intentions, but mistakenly let that be handled by the wrong people. Now that stadium should have came with the new school. And you know how many homecoming games we done missed by not having that stadium in the area? And what's gonna be up with Prince Park and Golden Plaza areas? What about the people there? What about the drainage? What about the streets? Police force, fire department, public transit. Whether or not they get a proposal passed by having a new police precinct and moving City Hall or Gordon Plaza. Not Gordon Plaza, but oh, what is it? What is they call? What do they call it? Is in between the current City Hall and the main library. Oh shoot! It's gonna pop up eventually. Just give Duncan Plaza. It's Duncan Plaza. And what's gonna come with the revitalization of Lincoln Plaza. I mean, not Lincoln Plaza, Lincoln Beach. What's going to become of that? Seems like everybody's going there, hopping over that fence and going across the tracks just to be over there. I think it's about time to revitalize it, and I mean PDQ in the New York Minute California fast. At least have something for the city. Because right now, New Orleans ain't New Orleans. And we gonna need more than the Pelicans and the Saints. And Mardi Gras. I mean, something's gotta match that brochure. can't show the world one thing, and when they get here, they see something else. I mean, back in the day, Canal Street used to be bustling with businesses left and right. And after the walls fell, there was more hotels and the River Walk and the convention center. I was, well, I have been saying that they need to rebuild Lake Forest Plaza, but I think that's out of the question right now, given the fact that shopping malls are becoming a thing of the past. And we recently seen that with the closing of the Esplanade in Kenner. And how Lakeside had built extra parking space for their mall. But all that's in Jefferson Parish. What do we have in Orleans Parish? I mean, what do we have? Yeah, Rubenstein's is still there. Canal Place is still there. The Riverwalk is still there. We could have had that Hard Rock Hotel had it not collapsed during construction with the pandemic looming. Will the New Orleans today, better yet, when will New Orleans today resemble the New Orleans of old? Because how long we gonna keep flashing the Saints, the Pelicans, the Sugar Bowl, and yes, the Super Bowl will be here next year, and we got Essence Fest and Jazz Fest coming up, and the French Quarter Fest. I mean, we can't have Atlanta kicking our ass. You dig? We gotta put ourselves not just on the map, as my boy Feli Phil said, put us on the globe. You heard me? Put us back on the globe. Cause we are the Big Easy. We are the city that Kev forgot. The NO, the NOLA, the 504. Let's get back to that. Okay? Latoya Cantrell. It is time to do what you the what it's time for you to do what we put you in office to do. To hell with all the hanky panky. Get on your job and stay on your job. That's it for me, and that's all I gotta say. And I'm sticking with it. Later.